Well, first of all, I just got to say I can't thank Little Rock, our fans, enough. I mean, you saw today what our fans and our people are made of, and they showed up in an incredible fashion and gave our team fuel and energy like lots of teams over the years have experienced. And I'm so grateful for the way that our team rallied, our fans rallied around our team despite the circumstances. It was very moving for me and our football team. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the way the guys played. We obviously didn't play well enough to win. We didn't deserve to win. But for 2 weeks, these guys, they're in a very difficult situation, very, very clearly gave everything that they had in an effort to win the game tonight. And so for that, I'm very thankful. I mean, KJ's out, concussion. Nick, early in the week, he was being evaluated for it too. I felt like it was important to get somebody some reps and be stable. He'd flashed in the last part of the game. You always have to be careful about making assessments like that off of, cleanup time. But Jack had been steady. Honestly, we've had other guys that have had opportunities as well. And, I think really at the end of the day, that's a reflection on the fact that we're just not a great football team right now. Obviously when you're struggling to win games like we have, that's the markings of not a great football team. And usually that your quarterback position is suffers for that to a large degree, but also they've contributed to that as well. We just had a very up and down year at that position, and that's kind of been a microcosm of our football team. So it was really an easy decision to go with Jack, and I thought he battled. Hard, and I thought he looked at times like a guy making his first start. But you could see that he never really got rattled by it, and even late was trying to make plays and stayed in there and competed, so I was proud of him.
Barry, raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Barry, that was 5 different starting quarterbacks in 5 weeks. I mean, you started 40 games. Obviously, it was very stable with you. How tough is that when you got to do that? And how important do you think it is that moving forward, Arkansas gets some stability with the starter there?
Well, I think that's a good point. It's been just – it's just been a strange year in that regard. It's not how you draw it up, and I think what you see is you probably see, us trying to look for answers in different spots to mix it up and change it up, and there's just never been any clear-cut answer in that regard, and that's usually a little bit of a challenge. And stability, and that, just in general is what's needed right now, and especially at that position.
Barry, having so many players that you had to leave back home in Fayetteville, not able to make the trip, how tough was it to game plan for this and then to try and get through this game?
It's been a challenge. It's not an excuse. It's been a challenge. I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it, and don't know if I will again. We've not necessarily been ravaged, but we've dealt some tough blows, not just through injury and then through the sickness and the illnesses, and it's been. We kind of are a shell of ourselves in some areas, out there today. And even from a morale standpoint, it's hard to overcome those types of things. Again, not an excuse. Missouri outplayed us and deserved to win the game today. And I'm sure they're dealing with some of those same challenges as well. But it's been very unique to deal with the things that we've dealt with in my short time here.
Barry, I was going to ask you, what do you think the difference was today? What do they do maybe that y'all didn't do?
Made plays. That's what I would say. That's an easy answer, but they're late. They throw a ball deep up, and the guy goes up and makes a catch into traffic. Whether it's third down or red zone, it's about making plays. That's what this game's about. And it's our job to put them in the best position to make those, opportunities. But I thought that they made more plays than we did, and that was really the difference in the game.
Just with like Taylor Powell and Bannister, just how important is it to whoever next coaches Arkansas to make sure kids like that don't get away?
Yeah, it's everything. It's really critical. If they do get away, it's got to be because they want to get away, and it can't be because they weren't pursued or they weren't evaluated properly. I'm not talking about just these 2 kids, but just in general. Our state, there's enough players in the state to build a foundation around. There's not enough players in our state to build a full roster full of guys in the SEC. The critical part is identifying those guys early and giving them every reason to stay here.
What's next on the agenda, Barry, for the coaching staff? Do y'all have any meetings set up for next week?
Well, the
Anything like that?
team has a meeting next week just for academic purposes, just to get, focus on the finish. It's going to be critical that they finish. It's hard times for these young guys. It's hard. And like I told them in the locker room, you keep doing right. You keep hanging in there. And in due season, there's going to be something good come out of this. And I have the insight of hindsight. I have that in my life, and know that it's going to be all right. They're going to get through this. There's going to be something good that comes out of these difficult times they've been through. It's what the beauty of football is about. One of the beauties of the game. I mean, it's a struggle. It's a battle, and life's a battle. To be honest with you, in a lot of ways, and it develops deep-rooted character in you that carries over to your personal life. And these guys will use these moments as they get older, as when they become husbands or employees, fathers. They'll use these moments to draw on, to know that, the sun came up tomorrow, and they can get through these things. And that's one of the beauties that I love about this game. That's why I coach this game, is to help teach those guys those lessons.
I know these games didn't go like you wanted to, but just what has it been like, you leading, the program that means so much to you? And do you plan to interview with Hunter for the job? Has that been discussed, or where does that stand?
It's been a special time, despite the circumstances. It's been a special time. And I will always remember the way these guys have gotten behind me and listened to me and followed me. Very disappointed that we couldn't come out with one today. I thought we were going to get one today. I really did. But all week that we were going to. In moments in the game, I thought we were going to. And so that doesn't take away from this being a very special time for me. Bob, that's out of my control, and I know this. I know the Lord's got a plan for me in my life, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that involves.
And I think the crowd was announced at 33, which obviously that's not normal. But like you said, you thought under the circumstances that was a pretty good show.
Heck yeah, I did. I felt like it was 53, to be honest with you. They were into it from the hog walk, from the moment we took the field. And again, that's our people, That's our people. And I know as however many there was at home, we had that many people rooting us on from home and on the radios. That's the beauty of this state, is that on Saturdays we can come together and in the fall and get behind the Razorbacks. And it's a unique thing across this country. It's a very special thing. It's a very sacred thing to me. And for that, I'm thankful for them.
Barry, when you had the 14-10 lead, was part of it just when they went up tempo? Was that a big part?
I noticed that they changed the tempo, and it really was, it worked out good for them. I don't know what their decision was based upon, but I did notice that the tempo did change. My guess is that, sometimes playing a young quarterback to a degree like Taylor is, and hadn't had a lot of experience, that sometimes playing tempo gets them to think less and kind of just trust the instincts and go quicker. But I thought that was a critical move by them and a good strategy that did benefit them.
And then offensively, where do you feel that kind of things went off the rails in that second half?
Just probably a lot of different areas. We just had to kind of eke our way down the field, and that's a tough thing to do. Now, listen, this was a top 20 defense we were playing today, and this is a very well-coached, very proven defense. You get week 12 in our league, and you're in the top 20 in total defense, and I may be off a spot or two, but this is a really good defense, and we knew it was going to be a challenge, and we knew we were going to have some field position and a turnover or two, and we had that going. We had that going there, and the formula for the win was just coming to fruition so clearly, and we just didn't have enough to finish that out.
Burks goes down on the return, then not able to play for a while. He did come back, might have been able to catch the ball in the end zone there late. What's his status and
I
his
think
fight?
he'll be fine. You know, I mean, that's one of those deals. I mean, their kicker has been averaging about 98% touchbacks, and we thought maybe we might get one into the wind. And the truth is, he's been such a weapon for us, whether it's been punt returns or kick returns, or you can't get him the ball enough. You just can't. And you know, that's just a byproduct. Him getting banged up. That's just a byproduct of football. That could have easily just have happened on him playing receiver or running a reverse. And when you got somebody that talented, and when you can control getting him the ball, you do it. And that will always be my belief. I think he's going to be fine. I mean, he was able to come back in. I think he's going to be fine.
It seemed like a lot of the offense was geared toward getting the ball to the tight ends, or it turned out that way. Is that just because that's what they were giving?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily by design, but we knew some of our shots, you know, getting the ball down the field were definitely centered around that matchup. And we knew they were playing a lot of man coverage, and especially when Traylon went down, you know, it felt like that matchup as far as just getting the ball down the field with speed was something that was there, and it proved to be true. And unfortunately, we just didn't get we had two other opportunities that could have been really huge plays that we just couldn't finish. And you know, and they were there to, you know, their defensive backs were there to knock the ball down and play on the ball, or linebacker or whatever. It wasn't just a clear cut, just catch and tuck. But you know, those are plays that were critical that we didn't get a chance to make.
Barry, what's your charge for the next couple of weeks? Trying to keep kids on campus, trying to keep kids from entering the portal.
Yeah.
How does that go? What do you see what you need to be doing the next week or two?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a critical time. There's no doubt. I mean, one of the first things, or the first thing and the goal that I set forth for our team during the interim was that we wanted to protect the integrity of our program. And we talked about these things at length. And so it's going to be critical. And I challenged them in the locker room. Those that were in the locker room with us heard it very clearly. Listen, this is, you got to be grown man time. You're a full-blown college athlete, and, you know, men do what they got to do. And, you know, boys do what they want to do. And I challenged them to be grown men and to handle their responsibilities. Reminded them that, you know, the slate that they are writing right now will be handed immediately to whoever's the sitting head coach, and we'll start. They don't start from scratch. This will carry over with them to a large degree, and that's how you go about doing that. And I'm very confident that these guys will see to it to do those things the right way.
I had a question about Jack, and then one about Scuda. You know, Jack 10 of 26, you kind of alluded to it. There were a few drops, and then there were maybe some contested balls that Mizzou won. Do you think maybe Jack's number, or he played better than the numbers show?
Yeah, I think he probably did. I mean, I think he scrapped around and did the best that he could possibly do under the circumstances. I mean, I thought he fought and hung in there, and I'm sure there'll be some things that he would like to do over when watching the film, but, I mean, that's the same thing for everybody that plays the position on no matter where you're playing on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays.
And Scuda had 10 tackles again today. He finishes with a bunch of tackles. I know he was on the other side of the ball from you, but just what do you think of his career? He's a warrior.
He's just been, he's been just a fantastic Razorback. I mean, he just doesn't say much. He's kind of epitomized as walking softly and carrying a big stick, and he's done it. And he's got a future in football. There's no doubt.
Coach, was Nick physically able to go today?
He was cleared.
Okay.
Not asking you to judge the officials, but did you get an explanation on the hit on Jack?
Yeah, they said that they looked at it and it was not led with the. I don't even remember what he told me, but I mean, it's one of those deals at this point, guys. I mean, when you got all these people looking at it, replay, and they look at it and review and all this, and if they say he didn't do it, then I'm just one of those people that say, okay, then they must have seen that he didn't do it. I mean, nobody's intentionally trying to mess anything up there, and so. They have jobs to do too, and if that's what they said, then so be it.
I don't know if that's the last we've seen of Rakeem in a Razorback uniform, but the last 2 years and what he's meant to this program.
Well, he's been a great running back for this program, and he's just matured, and I think he's on the right track, and I think he needs to be back here, carrying the ball for the Razorbacks again. He's just been really steady. He's gotten better each of the 2 years. I think he's got a lot of football in front of him. He's got a high ceiling that is not anywhere close to being reached, and I think it would be really beneficial for him to be wearing that Hog uniform again.
Barry, anything you would do differently in these last couple of weeks outside of not being able to win a game?
No. No, there's not. I think I focused on the right things. And I wouldn't do anything over again.